Hello and welcome to the Vongino Predicament. My name is Steve Vongino, I'm your host, and I'm just now realizing that's why we called this show that. Makes sense. I'm here to deliver you the facts about the news, politics, and of course, the ever-growing culture war that threatens to trans your kids and possibly your wife if it has time. Today's top story is, of course, former President Donald Trump, the only man powerful enough to stare directly at the sun and have the sun blink first. He recently came out against abortion, saying individual states would decide whether it was legal for mothers to punch their own babies to death and then use their stem cells to aid in the creation of the next PlayStation game console. Is this good, bad, ugly, neither, both? Who can say? Certainly not me, a moderate centrist with absolutely no skin in the game other than a love of true uncut journalism. Something the mainstream media forgot about once they started pooping their diapers and also wearing diapers. We'll talk all about Jake Tapper's bowel movements and how much fiber he needs when the show starts right willy-nilly. Howdy, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Happy you're here. I need to talk about the thing. I'm sorry. I'm a million miles away right now. I cannot stop thinking, did you know that Greta Thunberg has boobs now? This extremely high quality image, you can really see every pixel, that's class right there, was taken outside of some kind of climate crisis protest thing in like Sweden or whatever, where apparently Greta and presumably a number of other very annoying women who also have breasts were shouting that if we raise taxes, we can control the weather. And also the sea levels would rise again if more people just bought the Girl Ghostbusters movie on Blu-ray. Typical stuff. Point is, remember when a guy in, I don't know, I think it was Brazil, just took out a gun and straight up just yeeted a bunch of climate protesters that were laying down in the middle of the road and were causing him to be late to his 7:30 p.m. showing of Wonka? Well, thankfully, this man was not in Sweden the other day because then Greta would be dead, and quite frankly, those swangers swangin'.
She's like 22 now, don't worry about it.
Now, of course, there are some people out there, these non-elected fact checkers, who quite frankly are totalitarian auto-disestablishmentarianism didacs. All of those words are right, don't bother looking them up. These people want to claim that this photo of Greta and her, medically speaking, honkers is in fact computer generated by a group of elite tech perverts who have all been banned from their local public libraries due to masturbation above and beyond the acceptable rate for public libraries. But here's the thing. The mainstream media, they lied about Iraq. They lied about Jussie Smollett. They lied about Covington. How do you know they're not lying about Greta's heaving Thunbergs?
Again, I cannot stress enough how much she's 22 now.
All right, now that we got that out of the way, let me address this. I know I didn't put out a new video last week, okay? I'm sorry. I've been very busy. I recently got a new job. That's right. You are looking at the brand spanking new HR manager for the Daily Wire. Now, you might remember that I, of course, at one point rejected the efforts of the Daily Wire to hire me because, you might not know this, big tech is in bed with Big Con. And you definitely don't know this. In bed is where people have sex. That's right, Big Con, short for conservative. Sites like the Daily Wire will deduct from your paycheck if you get demonetized on Facebook and/or microwave fish in the break room. They're kind of strict, and I'm not into it. So I went on to this show in front of tens of thousands of possibly hundreds of millions of viewers, and I boldly proclaimed that I would be doing my own thing, going independent, not letting woke big tech censor me. And then I ran out of money, so now I'm in charge of all their human resources due to, and I quote, not even a Mexican being willing to take this job. It has been a bit of a flustercluck over there lately, let me tell you. We have this one black woman, her race doesn't matter, who keeps accidentally hitting reply all to company-wide emails and saying wacky things like, yeah, that guy's dumb, or damn, why'd this have to be a Zoom call when it could have been an email, or gas all the 1488, stuff like that. Meanwhile, the boss is Jewish, again, doesn't matter, and he has some issues with that. And so he's done some light reprimanding and put her in after-school detention. And well, now she's been texting me pictures of a gun with the caption, I really like you, don't come into work tomorrow. Don't know what that means, but hell yeah, 3-day weekend. I don't know, man. I think it'll all sort itself out. But if you are watching this, Bandis Bowens and Hen Hapiro, not their real names, I am willing to moderate a debate between you two because I have sympathy with both sides. Candace, I mean, Bandis, I get finding Jewish people annoying. You ever been stuck in a checkout line while a 98-year-old man tries to haggle over a coupon? Not a fan. And Ben, listen, I understand, okay? I know what you're going through. I was raised as a little bitty boy in Iran, or at least in Columbuston, Ohio, which has often been called the Iran of the Midwest. I saw a war tear this great land apart. A war between KFC and Church's Chickens, who both opened stores across the street from each other in the same week. There were no survivors, except, ironically, a few chickens. Point is, I feel great pain in my heart for all the Christians specifically who are dying in this equal conflict between Israel and Palestine.
I think war is bad, and if you've ever even played that card game, you're to the right of me on foreign policy.
Because ultimately, all of this is a distraction from the real goal of moderate centrist platforms like this show and the Daily Wire, which I used to work for. I got fired during the last interstitial. What we are trying to do in this totally neutral space is to, of course, completely and utterly destroy the radical left in America, who want all of your children to scream at their and your genitals all day. Duh. And the best way to do that isn't to accuse one another of being rude or Jewish. It's to continually remind everyone to not watch any of the Hunter Biden sex tapes. I cannot stress those enough. They are CGI. They are deep fakes. Let me tell you something. I mean deep, okay? I heard Huey Lewis and Hunter Biden were pissing off the Golden Gate Bridge. Huey Lewis goes, man, this water is cold. And Hunter Biden says, yeah, deep too. At least that's what I would say if my penis was big, which is not. I cheated at measuring it. Speaking of invading the womb, abortion, let's talk about it. Because it's today's, drumroll please, top story. Donald Robinette Trump, pictured here about to run a truck directly into Nancy Pelosi, like an alpha, recently made a video where he explained to the American people what an abortion is. He did not, however, offer any further information about where babies actually come from. And I'll be honest, no one's told me yet, and I'm getting really curious. Producer Nancy Mom occasionally says she's going to cram me back up in there, but when I ask back in where, she's passed out already, usually with a lit cigarette or two. Anyway, here's Donald Trump saying he wants to kick babies or something.
We want to make it easier for mothers and families to have babies, not harder. That includes supporting the availability of fertility treatments like IVF in every state in America. Like the overwhelming majority of Americans, including the vast majority of Republicans, conservatives, Christians, and pro-life Americans, I strongly support the availability of IVF for couples who are trying to have a precious baby. What could be more beautiful or better than that? Many people have asked me what my position is on abortion and abortion rights, especially since I was proudly the person responsible for the ending of something that all legal scholars, both sides, wanted and, in fact, demanded be ended. Roe v. Wade. They wanted it ended. It must be remembered that the Democrats are the radical ones on this position because they support abortion up to and even beyond the 9th month. The concept of having an abortion in the later months and even execution after birth, and that's exactly what it is. The baby is born, the baby is executed after birth, is unacceptable, and almost everyone agrees with that. My view is now that we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land, in this case, the law of the state.
Now, here's the thing. I'm not a radical, like every single person in the Democratic Party and also every single member of the Republican Party that has yet to agree to be on this show. I believe in moderate, sensible positions on things like abortion, which is, of course, the ritualistic murder of the unborn to feed blood to the demon god Babette in preparation for him to once again reconquer this earthly realm. And also, Roe v. Wade is why we currently have Gay Pride Month and BET. Duh, but I'm moderate on it. So, I think I'm pretty representative of the average American. And while Republicans have stayed very consistent in their messaging, namely that abortion should be illegal and any women who complain about their period should be put in jail immediately, all common sense stuff, the radical far left have gone absolutely insane. Did you know that there are currently laws being passed in communist havens like Colorado that allow for abortion up to 9 months after the child has gotten their bachelor's degree? Yeah, good luck spending a gap year backpacking through Europe before law school, little Timmy, because you're getting boarded. Right now, As we speak, Chuck Schumer is hanging out with a shotgun and full Joker makeup on for some reason, right outside an OBGYN ward, just waiting for a baby's head to crown out of the mother's wherever the baby comes from. Again, I still don't know. But the moment he sees one little hair on the precious newborn head, he's cocking the shotgun with one hand, which doesn't even load a bullet. It just ejects a perfectly good shell, but it looks cool. I get it. And he's aiming it right at the baby's head, and he goes, "You're terminated." And he blasts that little baby into ragu all over the wall. And anytime he does it, he gets sued by the estate of James Cameron for copyright violations. He can't keep getting away with it. So yeah, to sum it up, all of you guys are totally reasonable, and it's actually the left who has gone wackadoo, completely insane. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. And with that in mind, it's actually kind of totally cool and sort of punk rock that Donald Trump has advocated for all rights on abortion, which again is just the mass slaughter of the unborn and sometimes born, because that's the only way Don Lemon can get hard anymore, to return back to the states. States' rights. You guys like those, remember? They're fun. It's why Nevada has no income tax. Why in Massachusetts, racism is mandatory. And why in Idaho, you can't tie your horse up past noon on a Sunday, and also you're allowed to start a white separatist compound as long as you're chill about it. States' rights.
I do not, however, support states' lefts.
So you've got to see this move for what it really is, which is, of course, a brilliant political strategy. Because listen, love Donald Trump, hate Donald Trump, you have to admit, he is one cunning political mind. For example, in 2016, he made the brilliant decision to run against the least likable human being who's maybe ever lived. And in 2020, he employed a truly revolutionary strategy called actually winning but having the election stolen from you, allegedly, no proof, don't shadow ban me. Point is, he's a really smart guy, which explains why he graduated with honors from both Oxford and Yale, both of which he attended in person at the same time, and also set records in competitive men's volleyball in a game where he played on both teams at once. Denzel Washington is playing him in the movie. I'm mixed on him. By saying that abortion, aka punching babies to death because they can't fight back, should be left up to individual states, Donald Trump is truly offering everyone the best of both worlds. To the radical left, who again can only feel a sense of inner peace if they know in their hearts that all over America, little unborn babies are going, "No, please don't abort me, mommy," before some dork vacuums their brains out, they're happy. Because now some states are going to let that happen over and over all day, several times a day, sometimes, many times on Sunday. Literally just kiss a guy, get an abortion the next day, you common streetwalker. But at the same time, conservatives will be happy. Because in addition to just being happy all the time, generally because they're better looking and all in really great shape, they know in their heart of hearts that, of course, when Donald Trump becomes president, we're absolutely going to do a federal abortion ban anyway, and we'll finally put women in their place. It's all part of yet another brilliant strategy by Trump called saying things you don't believe or understand or even really fully are aware of saying in the moment. It's really paying off in spades, and I think it's going to enable him to thread the very delicate needle of abortion, a debate that has long been waged here in America between Republicans and Satanists. And I don't really pick a side. I'm just kind of hanging out above the fray. And I guess the real point is, at the end of the day, absolutely do not watch that Hunter Biden sex tape. It's all fake lies. Don't do it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the real heroes. I love you all. You're the best. Like and subscribe. I got all my links down there. I'm on X.com, a website that's always been called that. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. And I'm on Patreon. Okay? The only website that matters. Some people are saying we need to ban TikTok. Ban them all, except Patreon. That's the only one you need for everything. Because listen, for $5 a month, you get access to exclusive bonus content. What? You get an extra episode every single week. You get to answer questions. I ask you questions, okay? Give me $5 a month, and then I just text you and go, "What should I have for dinner tonight?" And you're like, I don't know, lasagna. And I go, "Wrong answer," and then you're kicked off, but you don't get your money back. You get questions and answer segments, and you get, of course, an executive producer credit. Your name shows up on the screen. You can rent out a movie theater. Rent out your local AMC. How much does that cost? Like $200? Remember during COVID, you could rent out a whole theater for like $120? That would have been badass. Just do that and just play hardcore pornography. Some of you out there are claiming to be gooners, okay? Don't come at me with that fake nonsense until you have rented out an IMAX screen just to really get that booty slapping with the bass. Boom, 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 boom. Anyway, rent an AMC theater and play this video. Do it. See your name. point at it and go, I'm famous now. And then try to get an agent. Maybe you'll get one. I don't know. But you help produce the show. You're a producer. You're an executive producer. And I love you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I got another video coming out right soon. And until next time.
Wait, did I say Bandis Bowens or Candace Owens? Wait, ignore the one that's real.
Shut up and sit down.